Hi, welcome to Flooring Models, airbrush time. Okay, we've covered pretty much all the airbrushes that Harder and Steenbeck do. As you know, I am quite a fan. Back in the day, obviously we started out with this one. This is my original Evolution, absolutely loved it. Or you can now get this one, which is the AL+, which technically is aluminium, which means this thing actually weighs nothing whatsoever. And we've reviewed it here at Flooring Models, and it's a very nice airbrush. Or you can go for very similar to money to the AL, which is for the Infinity. This is the new one on the actual market now. This is the CR+. Basically, CR+ just means that all of it is triple coated, all this silver work, which is obviously some type of nickel onto it, all the rest of it. It's all very nicely done. It makes it a lot more hard wearing, stops it coming off. Also, it's got Teflon seals right the way throughout the interior, so you have no problems with them actually swelling up and causing problems like that. Now you can get this one. Okay, this is the Evolution 2-in-1, absolutely. But down inside, you actually get this. This is the CR+ version of this one, okay, or this one, in theory. Okay, so again, it's triple plated, obviously with all the nickel effect on there and everything else, so it should be a lot more hard wearing than this one. And to be honest, I don't know if you can actually see much difference in the colour. It's a little bit yellowy, this top one, and this is what happens when that nickel begins to wear off. I know a lot of you have had trouble with it actually wearing off, especially down here on the lower hand where it sits on the hand. You can wear it off, but also not so much with mine on the interior of this particular colour cut, but if you look inside this one, you might be able to see they do begin to wear down. And then if you look at my other one, which is my original Infinity, you've got this sort of the original metal colour showing through, as versus to some of the others. This is part worn. You don't tend to get that effect with these guys. So this one in here, as you can see, should retain its colour a lot better. Now, I'm not saying it will do, because obviously some of the things that go through these airbrushes, such as lacquer thinners and that, are going to eat it and strip it back over time. But basically, this is just the next one in the sort of evolution, if you like, of these two particular airbrushes. So now you've got your option. You can either have a standard Evo, but it doesn't come with the crown cap, okay? And that is my sort of bugbear with it. The CR+ though does. Alright, so instead of like I've done down here and upgrade this crown cap for the pinch type, okay, which is a lot easier than doing it with the traditional one, the Plus series of them actually now come with these crown caps, which are absolutely fantastic. This particular one here is the 2-in-1. By 2-in-1, it actually means you get this colour cup, which is a 2.5mm, and you get this little guy as well, which is a 5mm colour cut, which is absolutely great. You also get now, which you never used to before, but you get the lids, which is quite a nice touch with it. You also get a spare needle nozzle complete set. So this is the 0.4 one down here. So down the front as well, you actually get a bigger nozzle in here. Complete set, so you've actually got both parts in there. Okay, the big difference is this part here, if you're running a 0.2 needle, which is standard, which is actually inside the brush, the hole on the end is a lot bigger to allow for a bigger nozzle set to come through, okay, which then fits in just like so. All right, so you do need to have a separate nozzle set on the end of it, otherwise what happens is you're going to get loads of air coming through this particular one. We're not going to demo it because obviously we've covered all that before with loads of these builds. They're all roughly going to work the same. It's just for your personal preference on which way you want to do it. At the end of the day, if you're on limited budget, I would say definitely upgrade from a standard Evolution to a CR+, because just all the seals and everything with the pinch crown cap, it works out a lot cheaper than having to upgrade one of these to it. Okay, so really, unfortunately, my good old fashioned standard Evolution, which has done me well over 10 years now, has been superseded by this particular one. It's a lovely airbrush, very, very nice, well worth the money. Then you've got your choices. Obviously, you've got the AL+ version. It's just a light work version of the two. Again, we've reviewed this particular airbrush and tested it. Is it worth the money? I personally don't think it is, when you think you can spend literally another £5 or £10 and get one of these. Okay, and this is the Infinity, which again we've reviewed before, so we won't go into it too much. But basically this particular one is the top of the range version, and it has got the locking trigger at the back. You can draw the needle and you can adjust the sensitivity of the trigger. All functions that are technically, I think, are completely over the top, and I will be honest with you, I don't use them. I've got the airbrush, I've got two of them to be honest, I use them, but if I was to go out and use an airbrush every single day, it would be this one, and it'd be the Evolution CR+, because it does everything I need as a modeler. The 0.2 needle set, Absolutely perfect for anything you can do. You can pump neat paint through it, no problem at all, as long as you've got high enough air pressure. Okay, if you've only got 15 psi coming out of your air tank, probably not going to be enough. You've got 20 psi or more, you'll have no problem with it at all. It will do the finest of modeling, it will do the finest of camo, no problem at all. But at the end of the day, if you want to get that trigger all the way back and lay down heavy coats of paint, it's quite happy to do that as well. Again, as I said, a little bit of personal choice, but if I was to recommend an airbrush for general modeling and all the rest of it, it would be this guy. And I would get the 2-in-1 because it just gives you that extra little bit of flexibility of having a slightly bigger needle if you were doing something big like, I don't know, a Star Destroyer. Okay, because to be honest, that's how I painted it, was with the 0.4 needle. But it's good enough, the 0.4, you can get there quite tight and do normal work as well. So if you do end up breaking a nozzle, breaking a needle, you've got a spare right in your spares box that you can come out, pop it all in, and away you go with it. Instead of having that thing, let's face it, we've all been there, and waiting for the postman to bring you your replacement needle, nozzle, whatever you've got that's got failed on it. Apart from that, you're good to go. And again, you've still got the option of not using a colour cup. You've got the little 2.5 one down in here, or you've got the big 5mm colour cup to put on there. And again, don't forget, all of these are interchangeable. So for instance, if I wanted to, I could take out any single part from any of these airbrushes and put them in the other one. So all your color cups are interchangeable, all your needle sets, all your triggers, absolutely everything goes from one airbrush to the other. So at later dates, if you did change, upgrade, go for perhaps something a little bit different, buy another one. You've got a problem with one, you can just take any of these parts and put it in with your other airbrush. So in that way, they're a great system, really works well, and to be honest, that's why I use them and love them, and I wouldn't use any other airbrush for this type of thing. So there we go. My recommendation for the perfect airbrush would be the Evolution CRplus by Harder and Steenbeck.